the Radio Forest Podcast.
Hi, Forrest. Geoff Tate calling.
Geoff, how are you? How's the tour?
Oh, great. Just really great. Just rolling down the road, making people smile and sing.
I have been talking to so many people about you lately, kind of by accident. The first one was I was interviewing Dan Donegan from Disturbed, and I said, hey, what was the first band you ever met? And he goes, I don't know if Geoff knows this, but back in Chicago during Operation Mindcrime, he went to like a record store and waited in line to meet you and said he'd never had told you that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You ever wait in line to meet a band?
I met Bowie. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. I stood in line to meet the band at the backstage at a meet and greet. We were, part of the record label, and our record label set it up. I got to meet him and shook hands with him and chatted a little bit. He's very, very, very talkative in sort of a reserved British way,
That's cool. And how was he live? It's somebody I never got to see perform.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, he had sort of a flair for the dramatic, and I saw him on the Let's Dance tour, and then later too on the was it Glass Spiders tour, I think it was. Yeah, he was great both times. I'm glad I got to see him perform. I think it's important that you definitely see all the people that you really love their music. At least once, try to see the live them.
Oh, for sure.
See how they are. Bands I wish I would have liked to have seen. I wish I was old enough to have seen the Beatles, perform. They didn't perform very much, but it would have been amazing to see that,
I wish I could have seen Elvis, Zeppelin, Stones, and I was thinking about going to see the Stones a few years ago, and then I didn't, and then Charlie passed away, and now I'm kicking myself. I never saw the Stones.
Yeah, I saw the Stones several times over the years, and also Led Zeppelin. That was a real, both bands are, part of the rock legacy. It's really a treat to see them,
Tell me about Zeppelin then real quick. I mean, obviously that would have been with Bonham, so... I mean, it's probably prior to the 80s. Was it a pretty big show? Was it like a stadium?
Yeah, it was 77, and it was in Seattle at the what was called the Kingdome then, which was a huge, football arena, and the place was just sold out, packed, and it was a different time in the 70s, when you went to see everybody smoked,
Oh,
so,
sure, yeah.
Geez, there was just smoke in the air so thick you could barely breathe. I don't even know how performers could perform under those circumstances, breathing all that smoke continuously, geez. It was just a really interesting presentation. Back then, I remember I'd seen quite a few concerts by that time, and Zeppelin were kind of a different thing for me because they were kind of bluesy and loose. They weren't like super tight like other bands. I've seen Supertramp, and Styx, of course, was amazing live. Precision players,
Yeah, Jimmy Page is not known for
nothing like that.
No,
they were nothing like that. 5 to 10 minutes between songs, which was really strange. Where Plant would kind of talk, a little bit. They'd spend a lot of time smoking, having a drink, talking amongst themselves, and then they'd start playing something. It was just a whole different kind of thing that I wasn't used to seeing. Not that it was good or bad, it just was very different than other presentations I've seen. And probably by comparison to other bands like, the Grateful Dead and maybe some of the bands that came out of the 60s, this was pretty common kind of thing, You only started seeing that kind of precision production start happening in the late 70s, and definitely by the 80s it was tight and everything was, worked out, kind of planned, and you'd have your live show together, But back then, I guess they just kind of winged it.
Yeah, you're with Zeppelin. You're like, wait, is this a practice gig? Are you guys getting serious, or do you know there's a stadium watching you?
There's 63,000 people, hanging on your every word, and you're taking 5 minutes, to talk to your drummer about what happened, 10 years ago or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the first time I saw AC/DC, I was like, is the drummer, is he smoking? Does he realize this is a gig? Like, does he know he's on stage? It's not a garage. And then it made me like him more because I was like, that's how relaxed he is, or addicted. But he was like, yeah, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. I'm like, you couldn't wait like 3 songs or 1 hour. I loved it, though. It made me miss that old era.
Back in the day, I mean, even in the 80s, when in the places we played, people smoked all the time. There was just a layer of smoke in the air, and you had to breathe that stuff,
Yeah, for sure. So I talked to Dan Donegan about you. He just randomly brought that up. Like, yeah, I never told Geoff, but I waited in line to see him. And then I was backstage with Dan and said, hey, I'm going to talk to Geoff in a couple of weeks. Do you mind if I tell him? He goes, no, that's completely fine. But then John Moyer, the band's bass player, was like, hey, I've actually been working with Geoff. Can we say what's been going on? Is it a solo album? Is it Mindcrime 3? Is it a combination of both? What do you got going on?
We're working on songs with John. He's kind of engineering and playing bass and doing a great job. We're having a great time, working when we can get together. Kind of rough right now because we're both touring, But he is a treasure. He's just really something special of a human being, We have this thing called Backstage Pass Travel that my wife and I started several years ago where we take people on trips around the world for a week, and Moyer gets involved in some of the trips, and he does these like songwriting sessions with people and kind of shows them how to write a song, and they have fun doing it. And everybody in the whole trip gets involved, and they write interesting lyrics, and some people can play instruments, and so we have them play the instruments and we record them, and we come up with a song. But Moyer leads the whole thing and puts the whole thing together, and he's just great. He just keeps the ball rolling and keeps everybody interested in it. It's like a day-long kind of exercise.
So is this something for the general public can purchase, or is this something you did do, or you continue to do, or how do people learn more about this?
Well, it's called Backstage Pass Travel. Yeah, and they can go to our website and look up what they're interested in. But we take people on trips. We have 3 trips in Ireland we offer. We have one in Tuscany, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, actually, and Rio, Greece, France. We have Germany, the wine region in Germany where I make my wine. We have a big harvest festival trip every year in October, which is really fun. But yeah, they're great. We go. We usually stay in one central location and a hotel or a villa, like we have in Tuscany, and we have a bus that takes everybody out day tripping every day to different sites, and then we come back at night and we have a amazing chef cooked meal, and we sing songs.
Wow.
We just have a great time. We drink too much and sing songs. Yeah,
I'm in. I'll see you in Tuscany. I'm sold. You got me. So with your own wine, I was thinking, because I know you were overseas recently, and I would assume Europe's a better market for wine than America. Do you end up with like 5,000 bottles at the end of a tour? Are you picking up bottles as you tour? It'd be hard not to, right? You get a glass of something you like, or somebody you respect recommends something, or a couple years ago this was really good, I'm going to get 2 bottles. Do you come home with ungodly amounts of bottles of wine?
I do. Yeah, I have a serious wine collection. Some would say addiction, but
collection's a better word. Yeah. How many do you pick up? And just a silly question, how do you transport it? Because it's wine and you're on a tour bus and flying.
Yeah.
You have to mail it?
Well,
what do you do?
I have a trailer.
Of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on where I'm going and where I'm at. But yeah, I do collect bottles and bottles and bottles and cases of wine, and I take them to my homes and, put them in my wine cellar and break them out when I need them or want them. But yeah, I had to kind of replenish everything because, during COVID, there was nothing to do.
Oh, you drank all your wine?
And I wiped out my wine cellar,
That's a good COVID. Are you selling your bottle of wines when you come through here Friday at the Revolution Concert House, or bottles of your wine for sale?
No, they're not. They're not. It depends on the state you're in. My wine can be purchased at wine shops and through a wholesaler. They have to do that by American law and state law. It's different overseas, and we carry wine with us when we are in Europe, for example, because you can sell it at the merch booth. But in America, they have strict prohibition era laws when it comes to alcohol. You can't do that. You have to buy it through a store.
How have you been feeling? It's been a couple of years. Open heart surgery, that's a big deal. I mean, I don't have to tell you that. How have you been moving past that? I mean, that's big.
Yeah, I sure wasn't expecting it. It just kind of came out of the blue, and quite shocking because I've been really healthy all my life. I've never actually been in a hospital before. That was an eye-opening experience, and chest opening as well. Something that, I just had no idea that it was that was going to hit me, you know. But I'm so glad I had the surgery. I had an amazing surgeon work with me, and everything went great. I don't have a pacemaker, or I'm not on any medications or anything like that. It just was phenomenal surgery, and I feel great. I feel probably 10 years younger than I did, which, you know, in retrospect, I was looking back on how I felt. You know, you kind of normalize how you feel. You get used to it.
Yeah.
You know, and I just thought, oh, you know, I'm in my 60s, and yeah, I probably should, you know, it's probably normal to take a break at the top of the stairs before you launch into the next stage. I just thought that was normal, but it wasn't. I just wasn't getting enough oxygen. Now I'm running up the stairs. Actually enjoy going up the stairs rather than taking the elevator or the escalator. And I just love the feeling and the exercise of being able to do it.
Didn't you get the surgery done in Germany? Can I ask how that ended up?
I did.
How come? Just you found the surgeon you liked, or your experience with Germany, or how did that come about?
Well, this leads us into the whole topic of healthcare in America, which is a shambles.
And you've toured a lot, so you're aware of what other countries can offer.
Oh yeah, and you get the best care, and I mean just state of the art medical attention in the Western world. Really, America's really got to change some things. We are really falling behind technologically in that area, especially medical area. They have tests and things in Europe that we don't have in this country. It's strange because we've always been told, you know, oh, we're so ahead of the curve, and, you know, we're the best at this and the best at that. And we're really not. That's a lot of propaganda. In my case, you know, I could not get my medical insurance to work with the medical team. It was just going on and on and on, and my condition was getting worse and worse and worse. And all the specialists I went to said, yeah, you got to have this done now. And I couldn't make it happen. You know, I couldn't make it happen with my insurance company. Was actually getting in the way of me having the surgery. In fact, I'm still on a waiting list with my insurance company to get my heart surgery, and it's been 2 years now. My wife and I, we researched it, and we ended up choosing a place in Germany, which is actually really near where we make our wine in the southeastern part of.
So that's why you went to Germany. Now the truth comes out. I'll pick up a bottle of wine. I'll get surgery.
Yeah. But anyway, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and it was amazing, and all came out fine, and I'm a new man.
Be honest, did you have wine in the hospital? Did they bring you wine to your bed? It's Germany,
No,
so probably not, yeah.
The place looked like a Four Seasons resort. The hospital was a beautiful, beautiful facility, all modern and everything. But no, when it came down to, you know, your diet and what you had to go through, they kept it very strict and, you know, by the book.
Well, it's Geoff Tate, Operation Mindcrime, the final chapter. It's this Friday, Idaho, at the Revolution Concert House. Last question, any sort of timeline on a new album coming out?
Well, we're not really releasing an album in the traditional sense. We're going to release songs. And over the year, we're going to release pretty much all the songs that are going to be on the album. And then after we release them all, we're going to package them as an album and release that.
Well, Geoff, I'm super jealous you saw the 77 tour with Zeppelin and got to meet Bowie, and it's so cool. But I will be at the show. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see you this weekend.
Well, thanks for the interview. I really appreciate it.